We are going to call this meeting to order for our Board of Trustees, March 16th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Could we all please stand for the pledge?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Yes. Bartholomew is excused. Edwards.
Here.
Thaler.
Yes.
Gare.
Here.
Parker.
Present.
Rosso.
Here.
President Poznanski.
Here. Moving on, do we have an approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as stated.
Support.
We have a motion by Edwards, support by Care. Do we have any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to add to the agenda, unfinished business. Fire and dispatch liaison.
Okay, so D,
Yes.
we don't have a fire and dispatch liaison, so I would put that under new, actually.
Okay, could we discuss it a little bit at the March 4th meeting? And
Okay.
Mr. Clark suggested that it would be better to talk about it at a regular meeting.
Okay, I think under new would be more proper,
Okay.
So new business C.
yeah.
And then, under unfinished business, can we add D, ethics ordinance?
My support still stands, Matt.
Okay,
My motion still stands.
okay. Do we have any further discussion?
Real quick, you said ethics ordinance, right? I'm catching up with my writing.
Yeah.
That was D,
That would be
10D.
unfinished D. Yep.
under new business.
Yeah, 10D.
Unfinished D.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, we had a motion by Edwards, support by Care, with two additions. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have none opposed. We have approval of the minutes. We have a few different sets of minutes. Let's see, let's start with our regular board meeting for February 23rd. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from February 23rd, 2026.
We have a motion by Care,
Second.
support by Fowler. Any discussion for the February 23rd meeting minutes? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have none opposed. Minutes are passed as presented. Moving into our March 4th special meeting, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 4th, 2026.
So, motion by Care,
Support.
support by Edwards. Do we have any discussion for the March 4th meeting minutes?
Yeah, under the topic 5A, references or discussion regarding potential OMA violation. I don't believe that happened under that topic. It happened earlier in the meeting outside of a topic item. I don't know if it should stay there or be moved, because I think that happened right after the agenda was approved, before we had any discussion. So it wasn't part of the discussion.
We can move it to, I can move it to approval of agenda, or after approval of agenda.
Okay, we still have a motion by Care, support by Edwards. Do you
Yes.
support the correction?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, any further comments? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? We have none opposed. Okay, moving into our council bills, we have two sets of bills. One in the amount of $37,850.85, and the other in the amount of $219,000, $798.82. Do we have a motion to approve the bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as stated.
Support?
We have a motion by Edwards, support by Care. Do we have any discussion for the bills?
I have just a couple questions. In the packet that's stapled together, in the cover page is $3,860 for the
That's the credit
Yeah.
card statement.
credit card. So if we go back about halfway, there's a payment receipt for Smart Sheet for $684, but it doesn't, it has an invoice number, but it doesn't say like what it is.
So that is for the 80,000, 82,000 for the grants that we got. The reporting system with the state utilizes Smartsheet, so we had to buy a subscription to Smartsheet so that we could fill out their forms in Smartsheet to get the $80,000, which seems kind of ridiculous, but we had to pay, $600 to $1,000 to get 82, is essentially what it is.
And is that annual or just?
It's annual, so if we don't get the SLY, is it SLYGP, or I forget what it is, SLCGP, next year, I'll cancel it out. But right now, we need it at least quarterly. And it also offers some benefits for our office staff, so I figured if we're gonna utilize it that way, we're gonna implement it a little bit at least in the office, and utilize all of it while we can. And then if we have to dump it off, we'll dump it off. But for now, reporting with the state, we have to utilize Smartsheet to fill out their forms.
Okay. And then when you flip it, the next page, Canva?
Canva is so we can utilize the full editing power of Canva while we're doing OneSource.
So the subscription you need to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I think it's like $7 a month or something like that, is it, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, that's what, the new OneSource magazine that we all joined in on, that's the platform that they used originally, so it's easier, they've already done it, that's what they use, so that's what we're all using.
Okay. And then there's, onto the next, I guess, packet that Plant Moran gave us for the bills.
It's your budget.
Yes, budget. The very back, it has two new vendors, but I think one got cut off, possibly, because there's the first gentleman at the top, but then at the bottom, the page is cut, and then it starts on the next page. Do we know who the second vendor was that we added?
What are you talking about?
See,
Right here, it's cut short.
see, there's a name at the top, and it gives all their information in the system, and then it starts at the very bottom
Change
under
type,
that
right.
line, but it got cut off.
That's just the header of the page. That doesn't have anything to do with the actual fields. It just says the exact same thing as what it says at the top of that page, where it says reference table, vendors, change type, records inserted, created by
And it's
Rebecca.
like the
Yeah,
beginning of the next page.
So she said we added two new vendors, or is it just that same gentleman in there twice?
which,
The first one, I don't want to say his name, I guess Michael.
Michael G. Nowakowski, that is, it's not entered in twice. That's his name and then his sort name in the tables. That is for an arbitration. That is a mediator for arbitration.
So we probably only had one new vendor then?
Yeah, I think that's not saying that is two vendors right there. That's just his name and then his name as you actually have to search it in the system. Because you could put someone's name, but then also put their DBA, and their DBA is typically their sort name.
Okay, so I guess my question was, do we have two new vendors or not? Is it just one?
It's just one.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Because you're saying in the, it said there was two new vendors on the first page.
Right.
Does it?
So I
Yeah.
Oh,
wasn't sure
I mean,
what,
I can look.
We can call Danielle and verify.
yeah, I
We'll
mean,
Yeah.
send you an email and let you know.
I mean, that would be Mr. Nowakowski, and then who else would that be? Trying to think of who else we would have as a different vendor.
And then a couple of our categories went over, budget. So do we just pull from a separate area? I'll give you an example. There's an education and training, under the police department, memberships and dues, contracted services, mileage under the treasurer, and education and training under the clerk. So we went over budget on a few, like we're at the end of the fiscal year form. Are we done with those training and educations? Are there more coming?
Well, we don't budget by line item, we budget by fund. So if we are over in one line, as long as there's money in that whole budget of that category, you're technically not over. That's how that works.
So why do we have all the line items then?
Because we specify, you have to be detailed on what we're spending the money on. Because I could just say clerk and say $50,000, and then you'd go, well, what do you spend? That's to show everybody what your intentions are in planning a budget, so that you know if you need 50 or 70.
Okay.
I can respect that, but I know when we went through the budget last year, and we went through line by line, and we looked at accounts that weren't being utilized, and we lowered things to try to make some adjustments, and these are some of the lines that were changed, and then now we're just, okay, we can go over because we got money somewhere else. I mean, what's the point of having a line item budget
Well, it's,
if you're not trying to stick to it?
it's the total budget, it's the total fund itself, like Department 253. And if you remember, at that time, I also said I would advise against dropping education, because education some years is heavy and some years it's not. It just depends where you are in your cycle for your certifications. So, stuff like that. But yes, what Megan's saying is correct. You're creating line items and you're saying, okay, this is where we're gonna put them in. But for instance, I had originally planned for 2 part-timers. We didn't get 2 part-timers just because of the nature of the business that we were doing. So that freed up money right there that then was shifted to where it might have been needed, like education at the time. There are other funds that do that as well. So it has to be a sliding scale by nature of the business that we're doing. And I get where you're coming from. We tried to shore it up, but if it hits, again, and we talked about that, if it hits in a certain year where it is heavier for education, then you're gonna have to do it. So, mileage reimbursement, I don't think I really did that, but I mean, like I said, I have different things that I'm not even touching, I'm trying to save in the event that we have to shift so that business does not fully stop as well, because if business fully stops, then we have to come back to the table and get a budget amendment for that, rather than utilizing an unused category within my own fund, or within the president's fund, or treasurer's fund, or
I don't
another
have a fund.
operating fund.
It'd be nice to have a fund, I don't have a fund.
Well, yeah, you don't really have, sorry, don't need to brag, so, but yeah, it's no different than Village Hall and Ground pulling from somewhere else, and that might not be utilized. You can shift money inside the funds if need be, so that you're not going over, because if you go over and you're deficient, that's also a bad thing, because now you can get in trouble with the state. So,
The village used to budget in such a way a long time ago by literally line item, and you would have budget amendments every month. You'd have audit findings. There's a point in time, I couldn't tell you, it was in the last 10 years though, while I've been here, that we adjusted to, and it was suggested from the accountants, accounting best practices for municipalities is to do it by fund.
I can respect that. I mean, this is also the time of year going into the more budget meetings where departments and department heads and should be bringing all this stuff to us now, instead of, oh, I'm gonna need more education, or I'm gonna need this, and after the fact. I think, like, we try to pre-plan and know everything moving forward. this would be a good time to start getting all that information, so we can build that into the budget.
Correct, and that is exactly what we're doing as we build the budget. Those of us that do the day-to-day work at the office, that is exactly what we're doing.
There's also sometimes that when it's budgeted, it might be, let's say, X. And by the time you get to that class, there's been more fees added onto that class. So I might budget for a class, knowing I have a class in February, but I'm budgeting during budget season to be passed in June, just based on historical data. Okay, this class has always cost $1,000. I know it's gonna be $1,000. And by the time that class rolls around, for instance, the best one to point at is like the water training classes for DPW and wastewater. Their classes have historically kind of sat within a couple $100 tolerance. This year they exploded. I don't know if it's where the economy is right now, or the fact that water rates are fluctuating so bad, and Eagle is coming in and having new standards, but those classes did explode to where if they're like $800, they're now $1,400 per person, but we have to take them. So when we budget those in June and say, okay, we have these, and then these people go out and then it's dropped on them, no, it's even more, then it hits differently on that budget sheet, and it's reflected differently because, yeah, we budgeted X, it's clearly Y, so where do we have it in that fund to move around to cover that without, making a deficient fund, because that you can't do. And if it gets to being deficient, then they have to come here and get an amendment. So it's trying to balance that whole thing.
The other side of it is, there's times where we don't use the money. So for instance, under our legislative table where we have education and training, we gave ourselves $2,500, and we have not utilized that at all. So there's an additional $2,500, or somebody please pick up a training before July 1st.
Will you move that money over to cover the shortfalls?
You don't because we budget by fund. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
We don't budget by line item. It's not, the accountants will let us know if we go over in a whole fund.
That this body is completely different from, like, say, clerk or someone else. You can't cross over funds without, that does create a budget amendment, like you're taking from one, moving it to another. That takes legislative action as
Wouldn't you
where.
have to take something like a change order in order to take the money out of this pot and put it in another?
Yeah, essentially, but that would come through like like I said, through a budget, that's the budget amendment itself.
You can make that happen.
Yeah, we could, I mean, it'd have to come before you guys, yeah, but
We
yeah.
just approved a whole bunch of budget amendments, January.
So the shortfalls can be covered.
Yeah, they're covered inside the fund. It's the difference
There are
of
no
like,
shortfalls.
yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, trustee Russo already pointed out some,
She pointed out some line items that have gone over, but it doesn't mean the fund is over. So until the whole fund gets to that point, there is no necessity for a budget amendment or to pull from, say we need to pull money down from general fund. And
so if it's gone over, then the money's coming out of the general fund.
no,
depending-
it's coming out of the, I would liken it to, if you have multiple accounts for your own household, so you have your bill paying account, right, your checking account, that's just for bills. You have another checking account just for every day. Then you have your savings. Well, if your bill paying account gets overdrawn, your savings comes in and takes care of it. And that is one fund. So if you have 3 accounts, your son has 3 accounts, your wife has 3 accounts, you're in the total household, right? And say the household is the general fund, but each one of those separate accounts is like this. So if one of those accounts in that account goes over, it has a safety net on it, being, again, just relating it, a savings account that then backs it up and says, okay, you're covered, we're moving money from here to here just to cover it. So if there's money in the clerk's fund, even though there's all these line items, if the total money that sits, there's money to move to a different line item inside that fund, then it moves to inside that fund to cover it.
Excuse me, Clerk Lucier, this is a great conversation, and I love that we're trying to talk and understand budget, but you know what, I will ask Plant Moran next time we have our budget meeting, to put a few slides on there explaining how the budget works, how this board budgets. These are great things. Walking into planning season, if we're not all understanding how our municipal budget works, I'm not quite sure how we approve one. So I will ask for some slides to be added to explain a little bit better.
Just to be clear, I understand how the budget works. My concern is if we're going over on line items, what's the stopgap? Can you just keep going over on that line item
The fund.
until you run out of the money in the fund?
Yeah.
So,
And that's how it's designed.
That doesn't make sense.
so, okay, I'll choose you, Clerk Lucero, because you're
Yes.
sitting there. Let's go under Department 215, and at this point, you have $51,000 available. Now, not that you're gonna do it, but you could keep going to more seminars and more seminars and more seminars and use up the $50,000.
I'm trying to get there, guys.
And what's the stopgap for that? How do we,
The stopgap, I guess, would be ethics and morals. I mean, we have a budget, we try to live by it the best that we can. People like you, this board, this is why you get this every month. We are held accountable to our actions.
It's also what's deemed necessary, right? We had the tree board go over massively, but it was deemed necessary because we had to clear up, we had a lot of trees that were serious safety issues, right? So I would say that, it's what's deemed necessary. If the state comes out, because me and my staff go to educational seminars that are deemed necessary by the state. So if the state comes out with something else, we'll go to it. And if that gets to 52,000, God help us. Because last week was enough for me, and I still got another one to go to. But yeah, it's also a little bit of us exerting self-control and ethics. If the state says we have to go to it, cool. There's a number of seminars that I believe would be insanely beneficial to my position and the village that I don't go to simply because I'm not trying to burn the budget. So as where I see where you're coming from, it is what the president has said. We have to exercise a little bit of self-control and have a little bit of an ethical approach to it rather than just burning money here and there and just going on vacation just to hear a couple things that may work. But
Okay,
yeah.
if we can bring it back, we're at the approval of bills. Do we have any more questions for bills?
Check registry, a couple of things jumped out at me. What, applied innovation, what was that for? Second one down.
Applied Innovation is the village's
Printer,
printer vendor. They handle all of our printers,
copy machine.
copy machines, printers,
Been on there
maintenance.
Yeah.
for years.
Yep. We made another payment to Proline.
Proline was retainage, so we retain, when project is put out bid, you retain, it depends on the project and the scope and how much of work. We did not release all the retainage, but we released enough. I believe we still held back 10 grand. There's a certain amount that still needs to be done in the spring. This is specifically for the 24. So we released what we, basically off the top, and retained what, should they not come back and finish the project, what HRC believed would be an appropriate amount to finish it ourselves.
Okay. Success Stone Strategies?
That is the approved grant writer. We are
Okay.
applying for about $1 million right now. She is handling in grants for the village.
Competitive Network Management?
That is the police,
Tech.
IQ, or IT right now, so we still have SYO and CNM for the police while we are in the migration process of switching everything over to VC3, our new vendor. So there are certain things that are taking a little bit longer. One of them being switching over all of the CGIS and lien approved people with the state and getting them on file with us. And that's not us, that's not VC3, that is MSP in the state. So that's why we have a kickoff meeting scheduled for, I believe it's the first week in April is when they believe everything will be done and they can grab everything. So that is, in between now and there, I'm still working with all three of them to make sure that everything is moved to VC3.
Okay, last one, curb appeal, door and window.
I believe that was a
It was
police.
under PD.
Oh,
Isn't it?
then that would
I believe
be,
that's a police purchase.
that's either, oh, okay, yeah, property room door. Property room door, yeah, the property room door, Mike Bomarito also signed off on that. It was a non-standard size door, and if we had to do any work in there with the beam in there, Mr. Bomarito was afraid that if we are touching anything in that building that's that old, it could unsettle that building, so just go with the door that is, and he even said he would sign off on it, and if there were any questions by the council, he would be more than happy to give his opinion, but he.
And it's not just
he
any
agreed.
door, it's a very specific.
Yeah, it's a
security
very specific size, heavy duty. It's a non-standard size. That's the best way I could put it. It's just,
Yeah, I'm not questioning
Yeah.
that, just why wasn't it bid out at almost $4,000 as a contracted service?
can't tell you that. That was also something based on, Bomarito came through and said, this is what it is, and I agree. So,
Okay.
I do know that Chief did look, and that was the only company that was willing to do that, and it had to have been done within a certain time or else they were non-compliant.
Okay. Any more bills? To refresh us, we had a motion by Edwards and a support by Care, approving the bills and the amounts as stated. We have any further discussion? Could you please call the roll?
Yes. Parker,
No.
Edwards,
Yes.
Rossa,
No.
Care,
Yes.
President Poznanski,
Yes.
Fowler,
There's an awful lot of wrong stuff with this budget. I'm gonna say yes. Pass it.
all right.
Okay, moving into our special presentations, we have our DDA. Do we have a representative here?
Oh, wrong shit.
Oh, yeah, there's a button. Thank you.
There you go.
Good evening, Marty Hutnick with a quick update from DDA. Our executive director, myself, and the DDA chair, Kathy Osbold, were in Lansing this month advocating for downtown Romeo. Sorry. We were part of 60 conversations that centered around Michigan downtowns and the important role they play in our regional and local economy and maintaining a strong community. We also attended the Richmond Legislative Breakfast this morning, and again, were able to represent Romeo and the initiatives we have going on to better our downtown. It was so nice seeing our surrounding neighbors working in such a positive way. Their stories of success were very inspiring. We are continuing to work on several grants for the wayfinding project, with 3 grant applications have been submitted to date, along with 4 appropriation applications submitted last week with our state and federal representatives. During the process of identifying funding opportunities for this project, our executive director has built a library of resources for a multitude of placemaking projects and is now working on an end-to-end placemaking implementation plan that will give us a roadmap for the remaining 4 years of a 5-year strategy. Town Hall meeting, mark your calendars, March 25th at the Masonic Lodge. Invitations were mailed week before last. Excuse me. Giffords Webster will introduce their conceptual designs for our multi-model streetscape project and to be on hand for a question and answer session. The first hour, starting at 5 p.m., will be for our VIP guests, and we hope you all will be there. On April 7th, the DDA will host a design day where we are inviting 20 to 30 preschool and elementary school students to the DDA office to participate in designing a possible playscape for our village park. This will be a fun evening where the kids will draw out their ideas and use their imagination to dream with us. It will be held from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty.
Okay, moving on, with our correspondence and into public comment. Public comment, now's the time to speak. We have 3 minutes. Well, your first 3 minutes, if you would like. At the end, there's another public comment.
Hi, Sharon Smith, 377 North Main. I just wanted to read an email that I sent requesting a FOIA for public records. I just wanted to read it to everyone so you're aware that it's been requested. So this email is being sent to request a copy of all correspondence, written, emailed, called in via phone and recorded, phone transcripts, etc., received by the Village of Romeo offices or the Village of Romeo Police Department during the time period of March 1st, 2026 through March 14th, 2026, regarding the fish fry sign at the United Methodist Church in Romeo, Michigan. This request must be granted under the Michigan FOIA Act 442 of 1976, MCL 15.231. And I asked that to be sent electronically to my email that I had sent it from. So I'm looking forward to getting that information. I think there's been a lot of rumors going on around town about who sent it, and I'm very keen to find out because I think it was a bad deal. Also, just in speaking of the budgets and whatnot, I go through the packets, I'm glad that they're posted so I can go through them and whatnot. And I just see so many ways that we can tighten belts, especially if we are in the throes of no money, the sky is falling. I have to adjust things. Like for the winter, I know that my heating bills are going to be high, and guess what? I don't get K-cups for my Keurig all winter long. I use my regular coffee maker. Go ahead and laugh, Mr. Clerk, but this is just stuff it's beyond the pale, it keeps going on and on and on. One of the things that I saw, and this was back in September, training, and you stayed at this, I'm not going to call out who, but the stay was at the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. Isn't that cush? It's stuff like this. If there's training going on at the Grand Hotel in Mackinac Island, guess what? There are probably Airbnbs that you can stay at there. But there are just different little things like this that you find all the time, when you go through. And anybody can get on and look at the budgets and look at all of these items. It just seems to be something that, if we're hemorrhaging, or if we're having a money problem,
30 seconds.
we're hemorrhaging money in many cases. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any more public comment? Okay, hearing none. Moving into our officer reports. I guess let's start here. Trustee Fowler?
Yes, a couple things to say here. I really received a lot of phone calls. First of all, I'd like to say I am not involved in any type of conspiracy or cover-up with this administration. And second, I'd like to apologize to Marty and to Ruth. You guys have been wrongly accused on this social media stuff that's going around, so I offer my apologies. I got nothing to do with it, but like I said, my phone's been ringing. That's it.
Trustee Care?
Really quick, the next downtown special committee parking meeting is Wednesday, April 1st in the West Meeting Room. It's not March 25th in lieu of the DDA Town Hall that's coming up. And then I donated my meeting pay to the Capuchin Soup Kitchen this month.
Trustee Rosso?
I received an email that was requested, I read today. It's from the teaching artist and the club creative director. Her name is Debbie Martone, and it says, Starkweather Art Center is generously hosting Michigan Arts Accesses Club Create Members Exhibit, beginning this Thursday, March 19th. We'll be officially opening the show from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. that day, and we invite everyone to stop by and see the amazing art our students have created for the show. Michigan Arts Access is a nonprofit organization that fosters all genres of art for people with disabilities throughout the state of Michigan. On behalf of Michigan Arts Access, I would like to express our gratitude to Starkweather Art Center for giving us this opportunity, as well as the Romeo Masons and James Hawkins, who are making the opening a very fun day and an outing for our students. The show will run through April 2nd, and she encourages everybody to come and attend and see the artwork produced by the students. Thank you for your support, Debbie Martone. And then I did want to address, I've been asked many times about why I continually don't approve the bills, and people want explanations from me. And I think sometimes in my questioning, I hope that people glean information, but that doesn't always happen. And there isn't one specific answer as to why it always happens that way. There's many different answers as to why I won't approve bills. Sometimes there are expenditures that I think could have been handled differently. I think could have been bid out. Maybe didn't need to occur. But one of the biggest ones is it's clear what we can and can't spend money on. And our lawyer has said it, I have researched it, I'm uncomfortable with it, but we cannot spend money in a manner that isn't directly for the public. And sometimes that happens. And so just for my own personal peace of mind, if that happens in the course of the bills that month, I don't approve them. We cannot spend money that's not for the public. And it's clear. I mean, I've got all kinds of information that explains it, but examples are funeral flowers, hand lotion, plasticware, coffee, luncheons, little things like that, which seem like no big deal, but those items are specifically mentioned. And so to uphold my oath and my duty, that's why I do it sometimes. So again, if you continue to have more questions, feel free to ask, but that's my explanation for you. That's all I have.
Trustee Edwards?
No, nothing today.
Trustee Parker?
Excuse me. Go over planning real quick. It's a short meeting. We did have 2 public hearings, which we didn't hear anyone speak at, either one. Looked at the short-term rental with one of them, and then the ordinances, which both were recommended to send back. And then we had 1 site plan approval out on 33 Mile Road. That was it.
Anything for,
Recommended to send back to you,
Here,
to this board?
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'm sorry, we did discuss the data centers and the ordinances and stuff out there in the packet. I asked to be included
you
for
do have
information.
towards the back of your
Towards
packet
the back,
with the
some stuff that our
information.
planner had put together. We had a pretty good discussion going back and forth and kicked around some stuff, and hopefully have a more thorough update, something by June like we talked about, so we can stay on track to meet the end of the year deadline with that.
Great.
Anything as trustee?
No.
Chief?
Since the last emergency meeting, I've had 2 very productive conversations with Comtech and Angela. Without getting too deep in the weeds, because it's not ready to be implemented yet, we do believe we've come up with a plan to satisfy both concerns, mine and the exorbitant response times being delivered to the residents here, as well as the fire department's concerns. What hasn't been, what's standing in the way right now is the cost. And that's only because we don't know what it is. We've inquired of Tyler Technologies to give us a cost estimate. They have received the request. They have not responded to it yet. But I anticipate hearing from them probably this week. So should be able to bring that to you at the next meeting, hopefully with a better explanation relative to the whole picture.
Thank you.
No questions?
Is that I'm assuming some way for everything to kind of integrate and talk to each other?
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
It looks like it's, if it works out and it's not cost prohibitive, and we don't believe that it's going to be, but we don't know that answer yet. But it looks like it will merge everything together so that we have a hopefully severely reduced response time, as well as satisfying some of the concerns that the fire department had on their end.
Nice. From a couple of residents, there was some questions. One was the speed sign, the digital one that we've got.
Which one?
There's two, either one or both. I know we talked originally about moving those around throughout, I don't know if it was once or twice a year, we were gonna move them to different locations. Some residents were asking if, more so the one that is on the south end to the north end. And if there was any plans or discussions on doing that.
I've had that discussion with that resident. I'd like to see it happen. It didn't make the agenda for tonight, but I have inquired of the county that would require me to get a permit for the new location. It will require us to, I guess, find a spot that doesn't have a canopy, because it's, those signs are solar powered. But yeah, I don't think it would be a bad idea to move that and get us an assessment of the complaint on that end of town.
Yeah, awesome. And then the other one was, what's the plan to implementing or getting the new Tahoes on the road?
Yeah, that's, nobody is more surprised than I that this place is taking so long. The Tahoes have been down there, they've been being built, I believe. I should be getting a call within the next couple of weeks that they're ready. And once they're back to be put immediately into service, they'll be fully operational at that time. Look, the only thing that has happened is it's taken an unusual and almost unacceptable amount of time for this company. However, with that said, I don't build cars. The former chief built the old cars. We had a lot of problems with them. If these come back as fantastic as I think they're going to, and we don't end up having to take them back there a lot of times for repairs and warranty work, the wait may have just been worth it. If it's not, then it's just the only cards I have are the ones that will cause me not to return there and give them our business again. I think what also happens is when you're a small town like ours and we're sending them 2 cars, I think that we get put behind another agency that comes in with 10 or 12. And I think that just naturally happens. That hasn't been admitted, but I feel like that's happened. There's been really no reason for this to have taken so long, and I've expressed that to the owner. He knows how I feel about it, but he promises me we're going to be that they're going to be very nice and problem-free, and all I can do is hold them to that when they return. But I anticipate within the next couple of weeks we should be getting that call.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Luke Rosero?
Yeah, I was out of town, so I really don't have much, but if I can, our council never said it was illegal, and that has been said multiple times, to spend money on,
I'm sorry, what is not illegal?
to spend money on conveniences in the office. It's not illegal. What it is, it becomes a gray area, and that's what he did say. And per the state, as long as it's attached to a budget or authorized, which it has been, operating expenses, office expenditures and such, it's allowed. And furthermore, if anybody came in and asked for a cup of coffee, we'd give it to them. We always offer it to anybody that comes in. So, you know, I laugh, and I'm sorry that it might come off as unprofessional, but we've hit this multiple times, and we're talking about macroeconomics truly here versus micro, and cost versus value. I heard something at another meeting where it was 100 pennies makes up $1, and it's plain economics or something like that, and it's not. Because if you take 10 cents to make that 1 cent, that cost of that penny is now 10 cents. And when we're talking about cost versus value, the cost of a little K-cup, the fact that that might help our employees work a little bit more efficiently, feel a little bit more supported, I think you're sitting here tripping over dollars to pick up pennies, and it's just not right. And also, I'd like to clarify something because it was not truly clarified. Nobody in this office stayed at the Mackinac, whatever. We haven't been to Mackinac. I wish, but we haven't been to Mackinac. So, you know, oftentimes I see the way it's explained why we don't approve this or this. It's like not paying your mortgage payment because you disagree with the fact that your husband went to Marathon and didn't save a couple pennies per gallon at Speedway, and while he was there, he grabbed a cup of coffee. So let's just not pay any of our bills. That's fiscally irresponsible, and I'm sorry, and I will stand by that the whole time. And I don't really think the village should be paying for Airbnbs, given the problems that have been persistently talked about, the nefarious actions in them.
And
So-
some of our trainings, when they build the training, we have no say in it, and I was up at Grand Traverse probably 3 years ago. That's where they held the training. They block off a set of rooms. There's a discount on the rooms if you use that and you stay on site. Sometimes the training was at Mackinac, and that's where the person went, because that's where it was held.
Like, I have to go to Kalamazoo in June. The average room is $600 a night. My room rate is $200 a night. You do get room rates. They are the state-approved rates. It's just how it falls. But that's it. That's all I have. I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Clerk.
Moving into my president's report, something, well, I didn't intend on mentioning, but I guess I didn't know I needed to. The FOIA and the sign, I guess it's all over social media, and we give a lot of credence to social media nowadays. I'll read you a text message from myself to our police chief on Thursday. Please verify if United Methodist has a banner permit. Just enforcing code and ordinance, of which we've been reprimanded at the village or the officers to enforce our ordinances. So that's all that was. So a banner permit, come and get a permit. Maybe you don't put out a banner, put out some yard signs. You can put up to 6 square feet of a yard sign without any sort of permit. There's solutions, but this was not the only building that's ever had to comply with a banner permit. The Masons Lodge, Impact Church, there's multiple places that we just enforce code and ordinance. So I apologize for upsetting the world of social media. Please don't believe everything you read, and come ask the source if you'd like. We can get you those text messages and FOIA too. Moving on. Can I just state that sending threatening and harassing text messages from a burner phone to the president of the village is in no way, shape, or form ever appropriate or acceptable. If you have an issue with something that's going on, address it properly. Don't make other people victims because you're a victim. That is just wholly inappropriate in of itself. Our next issue. I received this correspondence from Nathan Bartholomew. I'm giving you my letter of resignation. I, Nathan Bartholomew, currently a trustee for this village, am voluntarily stepping down immediately as of 3/11/2026. So, we have another resignation in our hands. I have spoken with Mr. Clark and how we handle this. Unfortunately, Mr. Clark isn't here tonight. But a few things I can read to us from our general law. regarding vacancies in office, when we do have a resignation, 26.10, we have except as otherwise provided in subsection 2. The resignation of a village officer must be made to the village president, of which has been done, and the resignation is effective upon receipt by the village president, which was of the same date. Well, actually, the day after, but either way. So it was done properly. And then where we go from here is 22.13 regarding vacancies. And that a vacancy occurring in the office of president, trustee, or any other elected officer shall be filled by appointment by the council, and the appointee shall hold office until the next regular village election. So with that, the next regular village election is this November. So when we do fill this seat, this person would sit until November. Looking at the terms, though, Mr. Bartholomew held a seat until 28, so I believe that will be a half term in November, that we will actually end up with 4 trustee seats on the ballot. I do have to verify all of that. I'm gonna have to call the county and elections, go through all the steps. If we do need to let them know we need an extra seat, spot on the ballot, why and for how long, so that they can put the language on there for a half term. So this is where we're at. At this point, we open it up to, I will have on our next month's agenda, appointment of a trustee. Anybody living within the village that is in within good standing of the village can put their hat in the ring, whether you want to fill out a letter of interest, send a resume. I don't know how you want to do it, but let us know.
I have a question for you, Madam President. You used the process previously of top vote getter. I think that you guys voted for Nolan. And after Nolan, who was at, was it Sharon Smith and then Jay at the barber shop. So those would be your top 2 contenders, right?
As I said, it's open to anybody who lives in the village, is in good standing within the village, which means you've paid your taxes, you don't owe anything on bills. That is,
So can
the
an
general
offer or
law.
recommendation be made tonight, or?
It's not on the ballot, it's not on the agenda. This is my president report.
Okay.
So, no.
So we'd have to get it on next month's agenda?
I just said that I will put appointment of trustee on next
Okay.
month's agenda,
I will go with next
this
top
way
vote
the
getter on
public-
the agenda.
and you can do that. That is, but this way the public has the right, and anybody who's interested, because it is open to anybody, may have an option. Moving into our committee reports. Anything for the sewer?
Nothing.
No.
Okay, and ethics, do you want to discuss that during an agenda item? No, we can do it now if you want, I guess. No, have at it. I don't, either way. I think, have we heard back from Mark?
I have not yet, no. That's it. I mean, we have a final-ish copy that we're comfortable with, and we're waiting back for his recommendations.
Mhm.
By the time he comes back with it, we could meet again and go over his recommendations. We can present it to this board and make any final little tweaks that we deem necessary, but that's pretty much it for this time.
I can reach out, send him an email and see, push him along a little bit, see if we can get
Mhm.
something returned to us by next meeting.
That'd be great.
Okay. Moving into our unfinished business, we have village council purchasing policy. We discussed it last board. We postponed it, and then I haven't received anything. So I put it in here because we postponed it, so technically it needed to be on here. Nothing at this time, though, so. I did include here that I did get the working draft to trustee Rosso and trustee Parker in a timely manner. Just, I understand, things take time.
Yeah, and I just got access back to my email today, so I was unable to log in there.
So
for
would we like
some
to
time.
postpone it further?
Would next month be enough time?
Do we have a motion to postpone until,
I'll make a motion to postpone until the April meeting.
I'll support. We have a motion by Care, support by Rousseau, to postpone until next month. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have none opposed. We have our fence ordinance readoption, ordinance 572. Clerk Lucero, did you want to address?
Yeah. So, by no fault of our own, Microsoft 365 went down in January for just about 24 hours or so. It just so happened to be at the same time that I had sent out the notice to Larry from the record. When I was sending him out other notices, I happened to email him and say, hey, by the way, haven't gotten an affidavit for the fences. He then responds, didn't get anything for the fences, went, looked in the out drive, it was stuck in there. So, because we're past the 15-day window, and we haven't been issuing any fence permits, thankfully, we just need to readopt it so that I can get it back out to the publisher so that this is actually codified and actually a law. So that's it. It was a technical glitch, and so, oh, so sorry. I just saw him jumping around. So yeah, we just need to readopt it. Nothing's changed about it. It's the same ordinance that came before you last time. It just, I only need a official action from you guys, and I need to have this posted within, or published within 15 days, your guys' action.
And I only put in here the draft. I didn't put in all the information we had last time. I didn't feel it was necessary, but I did feel that you needed something.
Make a motion to approve the fence ordinance readoption, ordinance 572.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion by Parker, support by Care. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any opposed? None opposed.
Thank you, guys.
Moving into budget meeting dates, I did put in here as a reminder, we did approve the 28th of April, and then we further have these suggestions from Plant Moran, April 7th, I pull up my calendar, April 13th.
That's a joint DDA meeting, I think.
No, these are for our budget meetings?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
April
that is, okay, I'm sorry. I
13th
understand.
is a joint DDA meeting.
How many of these options were you looking to
You
nail
guys
down?
needed a 3.
We
We
need,
need 3 total?
Yes,
So we need 2
3.
more out of these dates?
3 additional. We usually do 2 for sure and then an alternate.
Okay.
So the soonest we could do would be the 7th.
I'm good with the 7th.
I'm good with the 7th.
Do we have enough to do the 7th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Monday, the 13th, yeah, that's the DDA meeting. Do we want to move the DDA meeting and have it? I would prefer, although I love the DDA, if we actually can have a quorum of the council to discuss budget, I would like to take have us do that.
The 13th is better for me than the 14th.
I would agree.
Well, let's see if we can't move the DDA to the 14th. Or I will get with them and see when they would suggest. Okay, so let's try for the 7th, the 13th, and then are we looking into the 20th?
I think we already have a meeting then.
Yeah, that's council meeting.
That's
Okay.
council, yeah.
Well, at least we got 2 more, and we can get another one as we go. Okay, do we want to make a motion to also accept April 7th and 13th?
You didn't make a motion for the 28th, so if you did it, I would do it on all 3 of them.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget meeting dates, April 28th, April 7th, and April 13th.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Care, support by Parker. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any opposed? We have none opposed. Do we want to talk about the ethics, or we covered it? Okay,
You say April 28th?
Yeah.
it's okay.
That one was already kind of verbally approved, so that one's still gonna happen.
Moving into the solid waste management plan amendment. This is a request for municipal approval. This is an expansion. I put all the information in here. An expansion over in Lenox Township. They have approved it at their own table. That was my biggest concern. I did call and ask that, does the community who this will probably impact the most want this? And they do. The county has approved it. Where it's at is they need a certain percentage of approval of resolutions from communities within the county, so they're asking us to also approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve the solid waste management plan amendment as approved, as stated.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Edwards.
So sorry, how does this affect us?
What it does is, does it affect us?
Does
That's a good question.
It's in our greater community, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
They're expanding it.
They're expanding and adding a lot of
and I guess the effect would
types
be
of waste.
the potential that if they weren't able to expand, our waste would be going further and costs would go up. So I guess it could
Well-
affect us that way.
That's fair.
That in our president's already talked to Lennox, who's gonna be the ones directly involved with it.
Could we,
And they approved it, so.
could we approve in our motion, could we actually approve this solid waste management resolution that they have inserted? I think they would like us to do that specifically.
That's a specific one, okay.
And if we can have, that was Edwards and support by, was it Care? Or no, it was Fowler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does this have to
Yeah, there's no number on it, it's just solid waste management
I believe so.
resolution.
So you're adding this amendment that they submitted?
You guys are just approving the actual resolution itself.
Correct. Do you want me to
Yeah,
read it?
We're approving
we're
the
good.
Thank you.
solid waste management plan amendment resolution as stated here on, I guess there's no page numbers either, but as provided by
Yeah, Macomb County.
Macomb County.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, or do we need to call a roll?
Roll.
I think we have to
Yeah.
call a roll.
Nope.
Could you please call it?
Yeah. Fowler?
Yeah.
Care?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Edwards?
Yes,
Rosso?
Yes.
President Poznanski?
Yes. Moving into our Arbor Day proclamation for 2026. Arbor Day is Friday, April 24th. I do have our Arbor Day proclamation in here that I, Megan Poznanski, President of the Village of Romeo and the County of Macomb, and on behalf of the Village Council, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the Village of Romeo. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. I did include in here the Arbor Day celebration. They will be having on Saturday, April 25th at 11. There's going to be drawing for free trees, 3 to 4 foot height, bare root, ready to plant. Please come out and learn about the tree inventory that the tree board has been able to get through that grant with the DNR on Saturday, April 25th. And then we have our last and final was an addition of a fire dispatch liaison. Trustee Fowler, this was your addition, you have the floor.
Yes, on our meeting that we had on the 4th, I had mentioned that since Mr. Parker was on top of a lot of the issues dealing with both Bruce Township and the Village of Romeo, that we use him as a liaison between the board and Bruce and the Romeo Dispatch. And Mr. Clark said we should wait till the regular meeting before that discussion should occur, so. I mean, I appreciate the work that he put into it, and, you know, he reached out to all the departments, and I was very pleased with the information that he provided that evening. So I think he's the perfect person to work with both chiefs, the county. I mean, he hasn't said yes, but I'm just throwing you under the bus
I was
here.
just gonna say,
But, Mr. Parker, I think you did a great job, so.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I would accept, but I don't feel the need to get directly involved with day-to-day operations or anything like that, but maybe if there's, to streamline communication between the chiefs and whoever, if there's a need felt, I mean, I would put some time in to help move this along if needed, when that might be needed. It seems like it's moving now,
Well, keep it moving. I mean, that's where we're at, because I think Bruce
Yeah.
Township said June. So we're looking at 60 days. The chief mentioned tonight that they're looking at a price. I know that Bruce mentioned something like 85,000. I think we're whittling away at that price. I'm not sure. So I think that your expertise in this field is valuable to the community. That's just my thoughts. Hard to say no to
I'll
that.
support your motion.
Thank you,
If he's accepted. I was kind of waiting for him to say okay, but I guess I'll just go ahead and jump in there.
Thanks, man, I appreciate it.
I mean, so, past that, I mean, I appreciate the support with that. I mean, I do feel that just creating something, I think we'd probably have to define what that position entails and what duties or tasks are related to that.
Well,
At
I
this
think that
point-
it would be more or less, you're involved in the conversation, which you have been in the conversation. I think your research into it opened up a lot of doors and a lot of eyes. Stay there. I guess that's what I'm saying. You were involved, don't step back now, because it's pushed to the point to where we're here at that point. We got people talking, so
Right, and we
keep
did,
talking.
we did need to do that. That is why I called a special meeting. From our first meeting, Chief and I attending to Comtech and all the further discussions, getting the costs to be able to tone out ourselves. I feel like we're at a point, if putting another cook in the kitchen might not be necessary at this point, but if we need to reach out for any sort of perspective, or, I mean, Chief, you've had meetings with Trustee Parker. I think there's open lines of communication. If we need to reach out, I think we will.
Yeah, keep him involved in the circle would be great, and he keeps us involved. I just think,
Yeah, I mean, I think at this time, I don't think it really has to happen in any official capacity. I mean,
No.
Trustee Parker's doing a fine job now, communicating to him. Obviously, if that's something we want to do, I'd also kind of like to see the outline of the position, what we're kind of seeking out of that role.
well, I'm
more
not trying to
definitively.
give him a position, just stay there, make it happen. That's why I'm at.
Yeah, and I was going to say, Trustee Parker said this, and same with Trustee Care. If you're going to do this, you probably should outline it, and since this was added per your guys' rules, you can't make any official action on it. You'd have to, you can discuss it by all means and kind of frame it out and suss it out here, but you guys would want to frame it out fully for the next meeting. You can't have any action tonight on this, unfortunately.
Keep your phone line open, Parker.
Yeah, I'll stay in communication.
Yeah.
I have no
yeah,
problem.
Yeah, thank you. I guess that's where I want to go with this. is Don't take a back seat, please stay involved.
Moving into our final public comment. You have one more public comment. You have 3 minutes at the podium.
Good evening, everybody. Zach Throne. I live at 166 Benjamin Street. However, Romeo isn't just where I live. It's where my wife and I work. It's where our children attend school, and it's where I'm proud to serve through the Romeo Rotary Club and the village's Zoning Board of Appeals. I've entrusted with the opportunity to fill the trustee vacancy for Romeo. I would serve with humility and dedication. I humbly invite any trustees to answer any questions and share why I believe I'm best fit to serve the community in the trustee vacancy role. Thank you.
Thanks.
I like your first name.
Sharon Smith again, 377 North Main. I also am very interested in filling that seat. Megan, a few years ago, kind of set a precedent, with appointing Mr. Kerr by doing the last highest vote. I'm not sure why you would want to set that change that precedent that you set, but that is what it is. I think it's only fair that I'm more than qualified and to be considered. Also, just about the whole church thing, I'm a little disappointed that you acted so flippant about people just getting upset on social media. There were a lot of people very, very upset, thinking that perhaps the fish fry wasn't going to be happening. From what I understand, even people in tears. So encourage anybody at FOIA to find out what other ordinance reporting has been done. We know that the church wasn't singled out. It's been 50 years that they've had that sign there. And now all of a sudden it gets reported on. It seems a little questionable. You know what I'd also like to know is 152 Dickinson. The front yard is full of nasty, ugly, used mattresses, broken furniture. Hopefully somebody reported that, or when you were out driving around. You know, so just a couple of notes that I wanted to make there. And then also, you know, clerk, you can laugh all you want. I think you know better. You should hold yourself together. You don't have to mansplain to me how budgets work, and every penny does count. Donald Trump is not making any pennies anymore because they cost too much to make. But every dollar that we can save and try to be mindful of is a dollar saved. And I'm not gonna be convinced otherwise. I do it in my own home. That's why I can afford a home by myself, never had to be married and have a man to do it for me. So let's just consider how important budgeting is to the penny or to the 10 cents when we're looking at budgets.
Do you have any other public comment?
I too have to agree with Sharon. I don't think nobody from the board should be laughing at anybody that's up here. And I'm referring to Jamie. You should not be laughing at anybody that's speaking up here. That's not your job. And another thing is, that was my Facebook post. I know that's what you guys were referring to, and it's okay because you don't know what happens in between, how that information came to me. It's funny because it's actually came from the village office, that somebody came to me and they said, okay, I'm not going to throw any names out. They said that they received a phone call about the banner. So, just so you know, somebody from your office came to me. That's why that post is up there. And then, there was a post made on the Romeo Washington Bruce community page regarding Nathan Bartholomew and what had happened with him. I did not post that. I know the whole story. I was involved with that story since day one because it was my girlfriend that happened to, okay? I didn't say anything. So the comment on that Facebook post read like this. And just so you know, when you reply anonymously to a post, you should know who the admin to that page is, because I know who wrote that, and it shouldn't be written like that. So, the comment that one of the board members made up here, funny that you post this anonymously. It tells me that you are well aware of the fact of what you just did is slander. Instead of spreading, post what you can back up. It will be interesting to run the IP attached to this post. My money is on Marty, Ruth, Sharon, Shelley, or Justin, or someone attached to them. We'll see what comes back. If you are concerned about what you hear about one trustee, you'll be surprised what you hear about 3 others on the board. And I just found it so funny at the special meeting that you called out 3 trustees. I mean, you totally gave yourself out.
I don't know
You
what
have
you're
30
talking about.
seconds.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, well, I have the proof who sent that.
Okay.
So that's all. That's it.
Thank you.
Do you have any further public comment? Okay, at this time, we're going to move into our closed session. We need everyone to leave the room.
Motion to go into, second?
We have a motion by Kerr, support by Fowler. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? None opposed.
Time is it?